Hello everyone, welcome to Liquidity Narrative channel. This is our weekly liquidity map for the week commencing the 26th of July, which is the last week for the month of July. We always say this, that the objective for this channel is not prediction. We are not here to make prediction of the price closing, but here to help you identify where liquidity sits in your chart and where price is likely to deliver to, which will be of help to your trading. In each week, we do this narrative. We always prefer to choose structure over speculation and not personal opinion. So that having been said, was our narrative this week in liquidity narrative. As always, we are starting with Nasdaq. So looking at the weekly chart, we can see what we had. The price has been consolidating for a while, and then we had this as at last week. So what are we looking at? Price go to the area we're expecting it to go to as at last week. So dropping on the daily time frame and watching the area was the narrative. What are we looking at? Price sitting exactly where we wanted to do, where we wanted price to go to get to as at last week. So price sitting here was next for the price. So if we start from the weekly time frame like we watch, we still expect price at least to be drawn to this particular level, which is a gap on the weekly time frame. So on the weekly basis, we are still looking for draw on liquidity to the downside of the market, still bearish on the weekly basis, but price doesn't run on a straight line. Price has things that it has to meet up with before it could continue. So here are the price is apparently the level where price is. We want to see a kind of rebalancing first to the upside before price will continue to go down. So if price is taking a rebalancing level on this particular place where price is, we want to see price at least get to this level we mapped out, or apparently get to this particular level. So the good place we are watching price to take a sell to get to our draw on liquidity will be this level on the upside we mapped out, which is a gap on the daily time frame, or price getting at least to the other block on the daily time frame, or price might apparently get just to this level and then continue to go down to this draw on liquidity. But where price is sitting at this moment, we are watching this level to at least act as a support for a pullback before we continue to the downside. So moving down, maybe looking or watching our lower time frame. Normally we use the 1 hedge or 15-minute time frame um, to watch the lower time frame. So this is where price is apparently. We want to see price going up here, acting as a support, and the price getting a rebalancing, a pullback to the upside at least to this level. Okay, apparently to this level or even to this level. These are the area we're watching price to get to give us reason to continue this trade down. So our draw on liquidity remains to the downside at least until we get to this level that we've mapped out. But price might apparently open without getting to this level and then or just run down to our draw on liquidity. Until we get to this level, we remain bearish. But as price resume and we keep our eyes to this level that we mapped out here and then here and then here, these are the area we are looking for a trade to give us reason to join the trade to the downside. So Nasdaq USD this week, or from as of today, we are doing analysis. Our narrative remains a draw on liquidity to the downside of the market until we get to this level. We remain bearish. If price open and get to this level, then narrative might apparently change from being bearish to at least getting a rebalance to the upside. But if price as price resume and continue whichever way without getting to this level, we want to have a reason to join this trade to the downside at this level that we mapped out, first here, second here, and lastly maybe the other block on the daily time frame. If price, these are the level we are watching out to take a trade on US Tech, which is Nasdaq this week. Draw on liquidity to this level for Nasdaq. So if that having been said, that's what we are looking at on Nasdaq, because that's our narrative on Nasdaq. Remember, we prefer to choose structure over speculation and not personal opinion. And if we move next to our next pair, which is British Pound USD. Okay, British Pound USD, which is this particular pair. This is what we are looking at as at last week. This is what we had last week on British Pound USD. Price apparently dropped and tapped into this fair value gap on the weekly time frame. What is that for us on British Pound USD? This is what we had on the weekly time frame. So what are we expecting? What is our narrative on British Pound USD after filling this fair value gap? We still have some room which price might apparently fill completely, and then there's still some room to the downside on British Pound USD. Price might get to this level, which is an order block on the weekly time frame. But then for us on liquidity narrative, our eyes is on this particular level, which price X at the moment is a good level for us to take a trade, a buy level. So what is it for us? We watch this level to see what price is going to do here to give us this reason to buy those particular markets, at least to rebalance to the upside. But price might apparently continue to go down to this level, which is an order block on the weekly time frame, like we said. But on British Pound USD, our draw on liquidity remain to the upside of the market, which is a change from what we have in US take. So we are drawn on liquidity to the upside. Price where it is at this level is a good place to give us a reason to buy. So drop on a lower time frame, like we said, on one hedge or 15-minute time frame, which we use as our lower time frame for this analysis or for this narrative. So we are looking at price maybe to drop down a bit. It could fill the whole of this fair value gap, or price might get to this other block, which would be a very good reason for us to take the trade to the upside. So we watch this level and also this level, but draw on liquidity for us on British Pound USD will be on the upside. It might be this week, it might not be this week, but our eyes are on this level and then this other block on this level. But then from there, we want to take the price or follow the price to the upside. Draw on liquidity for us on British Pound USD remain the upside. We'll watch to see what happens here for us to take a buy, or wait for the price to drop a little bit more to this level for us to take a buy. But until then, our eyes remain on this level to see exactly what the price is going to do at this level and at this level. But draw on liquidity on British Pound for us to the upside. This is what we are looking at on British Pound this week. Like we said, we are drawing to the upside, but we want to see price maybe giving us a reason at this level or drop a little bit more to this level. Until then, we remain bullish on British Pound USD at the level where price is sitting. Price might apparently also open, fill this level, then continue to go down a bit. It might go down throughout this week. But whatever we are doing, our eyes is here to see a reason, or here we give British pound the reason to be in this trade to the upside of the market and not to the downside of the market. We might get a trade to get to this level, but until then, we watch this level on British pound USD. Remember, this is the last week of the month, so I will ask you to trade with caution. Moving next to Euro USD. This is what we have on Euro USD on the weekly time frame. This is what we had on Euro USD. Price tapped into this fair value gap on Euro USD, and this is what price did this week, closing bearish. So if we drop to the daily time frame, what does that mean for us? What is our narrative at where Euro USD is? Remain bearish until we get to this level on Euro USD, this low on the weekly time frame. So apparently price opened as at Wednesday, Thursday price returned into this level, and then that level Friday returned into this other block, this level, giving us a reason to continue on this trade to the downside. So we wait and continue to be bearish on Euro USD till we get to this low, which is a weekly low and also a daily low. So for us on Euro USD, if we drop to the lower time frame, our draw on liquidity remain to the downside of the market. So price might apparently return to this level to give us a reason to join this trade to the downside. Until we get to this level, we remain bearish on Euro USD unless the narrative changes. We see the reason to believe that the narrative has changed. Like we said, we always prefer to follow structure for speculation and not our personal opinion. So Euro USD, we are bearish at the level where market is at this moment. For British Pound USD, we are bullish at the level where the market is at this moment, or it might drop a little bit more to this level before we buy the market. Then for British Pound USD, like we said, the level is a good level for a rebalance and to give us the reason to continue this trade to this level. Until we get to this level, also we remain bearish on Nasdaq, which is US Tech. So these are the key levels we are watching out this week across the pairs: Nasdaq, British Pound USD, and Euro USD. Remember, there's always respect liquidity and the higher time frame structure. Remember to trade the map and not your personal opinion. And we prefer to follow structure over speculation. Till then, I will see you again. Have a lovely week of trading. Thank you.